Hey everyone, welcome to week 4 half Ironman training plan. So this week is what I call a rest and test week. What that means is we're going to reduce the training volume, take out a lot of the runs, allow your legs especially a chance to recover, allow your whole body a chance to recover. Typically what happens when you give yourself a rest period, when you come off of that, you're stronger than ever. So that's one of the reasons for this rest week. But we also want to keep in a couple higher intensity workouts, and that's why we combine the rest week with the benchmark testing. So there's the bike benchmark testing as well as the swim testing. Those are both harder workouts, higher intensity. The other reason for those benchmark workouts is one of the most common things that athletes and triathletes especially struggle with is motivation and self-motivation. And so when you do your benchmark workouts and you have this workout that you did, 4, 6, 8 weeks ago, typically you're testing your benchmark workouts. You want to do those between 4 and 8 weeks. It generally takes about 4 to 6 weeks to notice an improvement in yourself physically. So when you've done the benchmark workouts in the past and you repeat those, it gives you that motivation to compete against yourself. And so you're always thinking about, okay, how can I compete against myself? How can I keep making progress in the sport of triathlon, whether it's individually with swimming or biking and running, right? And so that motivation is a big part of it. And I think a lot of athletes think it's only them, it's only themselves who are not as motivated, and they look around at other people and they're all doing all these workouts. But the more that you talk to athletes, the more that you talk to other people, the more you realize that we're all really the same, and that we have to invent ways to get our butt out the door and do a workout. And then planning a race is, as you have that race on your calendar and it maybe scares you a little bit. And if you don't do these workouts, that race is going to be really tough. And that's a very common thing that athletes will use, is have a race out far enough in the future that really motivates them. And so I found the benchmark workouts a great way for you to motivate yourself as you go through your season and through your years. Myself, I've been doing triathlons now for 24 years, and finding these benchmark workouts and these races are a way for me to stay motivated to keep working out, because the benefit is that I'm in better physical fitness than if I didn't work out at all, right? I know that for sure. So that's a big part of it. Okay, I also want to take you inside of Saturday's run. So Saturday's long run, I changed it up a little bit. And then let me clarify that, in that if you're just getting started in the sport and you really don't have much of an aerobic base, less than say 8 to 12 weeks of consistent long running, you probably want to keep that long run just at your moderate long run pace. Should feel pretty easy to moderate. You shouldn't get above moderately hard. Really don't even want to get into moderately hard. You want to stay in that moderate range. If you know your heart rate zones for running, then you want to be at that upper end of zone 2 or anywhere in zone 2 and not really cross into zone 3 and 4. So with that, if you're pacing wise, if we were to look at, say, your 10K pace, then your long run pace at a moderate level would easily be minute and a half to 2 minutes slower than your 10K pace. Okay. If though you have a good base and you've been doing some long run workouts and you've got a couple, say, hour and a half, 2 hour runs underneath your belt, and a lot of times what people will find is running one pace the whole way through is a little bit boring. So here I have a workout inside Saturdays, if you read it, which will make it less boring and make it more challenging. And I personally find them to be quite fun. And then I have it set up with 3 sets of 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. And that's not a magic number. When I do mine, I've been doing them 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 6 minutes. And so we can play around a lot with those variables. You can also go by distance. You could do, say, every half mile, you could change the pace on these to break it up. And then when it comes to pacing, this is where people will get hung up a lot. So what we want to think about for this run is think about the pace you want to run for your half Ironman. I'm just going to take mine and I'm going to say I want to run an 8-minute pace for a half Ironman. Okay, so for this swing pace set, I'm going to do what I have for you, 3 minutes at 10 seconds faster than my goal pace. So that would be 7:50 pace. And then I'm gonna go on the 6 minutes in the middle, I'm gonna go 20 seconds slower than my goal pace or 30 seconds slower than the 750. So either way, that comes out to 820. So I'm doing some work at 750, so a bit faster than I want to race, and then some work at about 820. And then the recovery periods that are in between these three sets, instead of being 820, they're going to be all the way up at 9-minute pace, maybe a little bit slower. Nice and easy to moderate, just long run pace. And then we have that bit of work in between there, okay? Now, if you did it by, let's say you're doing it by miles instead of time, you could do, say, a quarter mile at 750 pace and then 3/4 of a mile at 820 pace, right? And you could, you could maybe do 2 sets of those, and that would come out to roughly around 16 minutes for that set. So there's a lot of ways to mix it up. If all of that is just way too confusing for you and you just say, just tell me what to do, then just read the Saturday plan and do that there. I just mentioned all those variables because there's a lot of ways you can change it up. As you go through the season, if your fitness progresses, you may find, say in my case, that 750 to 820, maybe that becomes too slow for me now, and so maybe I need to shift those. Maybe I start running 740s and 810s, and then as the race gets closer, maybe I might tighten those up and just swing from 750 to 810, so a narrower margin. So there's a lot of ways we can manipulate those variables, but like I said, if you just want a workout to do, 3-6-3, 3 sets of those. Pace-wise, do the threes, the 2-3 minutes, do those a little bit faster than your half marathon pace. Do the 6 minutes slower than your half marathon pace. And let's start with taking a 30-second swing. So if you were running an 8:15 for your faster section, you'd run an 8:45 for your slower section, and then back to 8:15. Okay. As always, any questions, let me know. If there's anything I need to clean up question-wise in the video, just post it in the comments, and I will get back to you. Thanks.